We're going to go over to Newaygo County right now and up to Frankenmuth, Michigan. But we're going to run down to Birmingham right now, Birmingham, Michigan. Northwood University, and go over to South Haven, Ypsilanti, Eastern Michigan University. You'll be hearing us from all over the place, but that's the beauty of this broadcast.
Now, from the studios in downtown Lansing, it's Chris Holman's Business Beat.
It is, and here we are in our studios, as a matter of fact. Just give our cars a little time to rest here and give Jeff Mosher a little time to be off the road. So we're in the studio with Jack Schripsema, who is the President and CEO of the Greater Lansing Convention and Visitors Bureau. At least today he is. How you doing, Jack?
I'm great. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah, that was a little tongue-in-cheek because Jack has actually announced his retirement. When's it effective, Jack?
Early next year, end of February.
End of February. Yep. Oh, my God. You're staying through most of the winter.
I know. That wasn't very smart, was it?
What were you thinking? That is great. Well, it's a great winter sport state, and, I've always loved those things anyway. So, it's interesting. Let's talk a little bit before we get into the reason you're here, which is this wonderful report. A little bit about the CVB and kind of what's going on there, and how has it gone? I mean, you've really posted some pretty good numbers since you came here.
Yeah, it's the last 7 years have been phenomenal. I started here in Lansing in 2012. And, one of my goals was to really move the demand curve for this region. And, we lagged as a region behind many parts of the state and some of the key metrics related to tourism. Yeah. And there's no reason for that. And so that was a big focus and emphasis of mine when I came in. And we've seen the needle really move. Occupancy, we were in the low 50s. Now we're in the low 60s, 7 years later. Right. And we're right there with our competitors in Grand Rapids and Detroit and so on around the state. The same thing for ADR, or average daily rate, which is a key metric in the tourism industry. I mean, I think we've moved that needle almost 20-some% in the 7 years. And that number is important because that allows hotels, for example, and facilities to reinvest in the property and keep them competitive. Well,
it's easy to sell rooms if your price is low.
Yeah, right. If you get it right. Yeah. So to add the occupancy, the demand, the room night consumption, I think it was just a couple years ago we broke 1 million. It was about 850 when I started here in Lansing. So all those things have just been great to see, and I'm very proud that our organization, I think, has led the way in that.
Hey, let's talk, if you don't mind for a second, just about the financing of the CVB and how that works, because a lot of people really don't understand that.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit, independent nonprofit organization. Our mission is to create economic impact throughout the region through the promotion of tourism. Right, and the funding comes from a number of sources. We've got the bed tax in Ingham County is we know it as PA 263, but when a guest stays at a hotel in Ingham County, they pay a 5% hotel tax.
Right.
That goes to the county, and the county distributes that. And that was implemented in, I think, 1984, about, whatever that number of years ago that was, 30, 40 years ago. And we get 80% of that. So that's an important piece. That's one of that probably represents about, 40% of our revenue. We also have some assessments that the hotels, our hotel members, of about 45 in the region, that self-assess a marketing assessment to help us market the destination, and that represents.
Well, you're out marketing them.
Oh, absolutely, right. If we can bring visitors to the area, they've got to stay typically at the property. So that represents about 50% of our budget, and then we have over 500 members. We are a membership organization, and that represents about 10% of our budget. Yeah. So we're about a little over $6 million organization.
Yeah, but when you post the numbers, there's an ROI there.
Oh, yeah. When 2012, we were at $3.8 million, or was our revenue. Now we're at $6 million. So we've almost doubled in 7 years, and that's because, again, the increase of demand.
You bet.
That consumption is driven not only the average rate, but also the number. So that's all been good for the community, and of course, those people support other things like restaurants and shops. And
so along those lines, you had the Anderson Economic Group.
Right.
They just did a study for you and showed you some great things.
Yeah, it did. They just completed looking at the last full year of this region, which was 2018, and it showed that we welcomed 5.3 million visitors to the region. Compared that to the last time we did the study in 2015, we had 4.8. So we've gone up 500,000 visitors.
Wow.
And because we've seen an increase every year.
And visitors, this is anybody comes in.
Right. These are people from outside the area that come in this area. That could be day trippers or overnight visitors.
Yeah, not necessarily room nights.
Right. And they all create
spend money.
They all do. Yeah. Certainly the overnight visitors spend more, but they spent $682 million at local businesses, all these visitors combined, and created over 11,000 jobs and overall an economic impact to the area of over $1 billion. So it's pretty significant sector for our region. Yeah,
it absolutely is.
Yeah.
You know, this is interesting because CVBs are often overlooked as an economic driver,
right?
And they really are not.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't be overlooked as an economic driver because it's a best case scenario. You bring people to the area, they drop their money, they leave.
Right.
And hopefully they have a great experience and come back and do the same thing
and
over
tell all
over.
their friends.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So you got to be happy with how this economic survey came out.
I am. Yeah. It kind of validates what we think what we know has been happening, and so I think we're on the right track. We've got an awesome staff. We got a great region to market. There's so many good things going on in this region. It's an exciting time to be here.
Yeah,
really and here I am leaving in a few months. Now, what is that all about?
But, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
So, I know what you're thinking. Grandkids and a little more vacation.
Right.
Well, Jack Schripsema, President and CEO of the Greater Lansing Convention and Visitors Bureau, it's been a real pleasure to work with you over these years, my friend.
You as well, Chris.
All right. Take care. We're going to be right back. You're listening to the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.